Hi guys, how are you? It's Wednesday. Looks like there's a storm coming here in the Northeast. I keep hearing people changing their plans about this ice storm, but every time I go on the news to look at it, I end up doing something different. So we're all snuggly bugly here anyway. Hi Gary. Hi Mike. James. Tom. So Charlie can't join us tonight because he has his other obligations with his club, his local club. Oh, Tom says it's raining with ice there. Okay, so yeah, so Tom's like, I don't know exactly know how many miles it is, but he's like southern Ohio. So till it comes across and then comes up or comes straight across to me, we're probably a good 10 hours driving, like people driving. So a storm, who knows? But yeah. So something else, I had my dude class, my drone study on drones, and I do know what that stands for. So it's through Penn State, and I don't know if you know Robin Underwood, but she is in charge of it. She's the professor. So we have that every Tuesday, every other week. This was our first like real class. We had a class. It was just intro and syllabus, and you know, you need to push this number for or button to make this work and things like that. So it was our first class, and we did two articles. We read the article, um Tarpey, Dave Tarpey, I believe his name is, wrote the article, and then there was a review. So we did both of those, discussed both of those things, and it was interesting. I'm gonna put them up. I'm going to figure out how to link, and I haven't done this yet, how to link those articles to the chat. I'm sure it's I'm sure it's pretty easy. Oh geez, the first thing I see when I open YouTube is Cayman's mug. So I'm gonna get this. I can't find my own chat. I'm gonna get this link in. There we go. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. There. Here. Oh, I think this happened last time. Okay, copy. All right. Turn the volume there. There we go. All right. I think we're good. I have the link pinned in the chat. And I want to learn how to pin those two articles. Once somebody comes in and starts talking a little bit, I'll pin the articles on. So the class is through Penn State, a deep understanding of drone education, I think is what DUDE stands for. And we they encourage us to share everything, like the articles, discussions, uh, the book. We only have one little book, but it's encouraged to share. So every week that I come on, well, every other week, I guess it would be, I will link the articles that we had to read. And these are all like real articles. The names of the people you'll be familiar with who write these articles or these studies and whatnot with the drone. So um, I'll share them on my chat. Uh, I haven't done anything with my bees since Saturday. And I think I talked about that on some other chats. Hey, Tom.
Hello, Nancy, how are
Thanks for
you?
coming in.
Yeah, just give you some company.
Yeah, thanks. Gets lonely up here sometimes. Well, I'm still yakking, but yeah, so bees haven't been any in any of the bees. I think I was in Friday and I talked about that. So um it's nothing going on. I'm gonna have some losses, which I planned for. I haven't really ever had any sort of significant loss since I started beekeeping. So my thought was that I need to thin the herd a little bit, not limp along those struggling colonies,
Right.
because I can keep them alive. I've proven that I can keep bees alive, but then it's like, is it worth it? Are they healthy enough to produce what I need them to produce for me? Um, so yeah, I'm gonna take some losses, but it's fine. It'll be okay.
Yeah, same deal. I let some of my little ones see if they would overwinter, and they didn't. They didn't. And
Yeah,
I didn't really care if I lost them or not because they didn't perform. They didn't grow like they should have in the fall anyway, late summer,
that's
fall.
that is exactly that's exactly my story. I got him up over January 1, which usually indicates, anything prior to January. It's not a hard and fast rule, but before January 1 it's lost to mites and after is starvation and mine starved. You can see it.
Right.
They just
I
wouldn't.
grafted right around the 4th of July, and these are all the new ones that I created from that point on. And I didn't feed them like I normally would past years because I had my knee surgery replacement. So I kind of said,
Mm.
well, then we kind of had that drought, so everything was against them surviving.
So these were your new hives from like summer solstice that
Yeah,
didn't make it?
they didn't make. Well, I didn't feed them because I had. Well, I fed them at the very beginning, so they all got a gallon. But then I had my surgery; I couldn't refeed them, and then I put sugar
Right.
bricks on top of them. But didn't. They didn't die from starvation. They starved from freezing. They weren't in the cells. They were just clumped up underneath the sugar, dead. When we got to
Yeah.
-6 degrees, they couldn't keep it warm.
They just didn't have the numbers to
If I would have
produce the
kept
heat
feeding,
they needed.
them, kept laying, and it would have been a big enough, the hives would have been big enough. But
Mm-hmm.
due to my surgery, I didn't get that done. I was hoping for a mild
Planning
winter.
and
We had the last 3 or 4. We had our ninth coldest January on record.
hmm,
We were at minus 25.1 degrees was our average for the month
what?
of January.
Minus?
Well, not minus 25.1
Oh,
degrees.
oh, okay. I was
Below,
gonna
yeah, it
say.
was below
Okay,
freezing
okay.
was our average.
Yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. Hi,
So that's
Triton.
that's a pretty long time. That's 30 days. Well, it ended up being probably 26 days because I think the first few days when we were at Nabby, it was warm. It was decent down here too.
Mm-hmm.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
But after that point, 14, 15 inches of snow and an average of 25 degrees.
Yeah, I was able to get into mine before the expo, so yes, we did have a little clip of warm somewhere. I guess it was between Christmas and New Year's, I want to say, that I was
Right.
able to top mine off and get some fondant on them and that. Hey, Triton, tell us where you're at. That's an unfamiliar
Yeah, I don't
that's an
know him that
unfamiliar
well.
name
I
to
know him, but I
me.
don't know him.
Yeah, and Charlie, my little Excel sheet computer brain isn't here to ask. So, oh, Minnesota. Okay. Yeah, Minnesota. Uh,
So he's still in winter big time.
yeah. Minnesota Mike comes to mind, but I don't know this what the state off the top of my head. It's too far. for me to have that area memorized, but
Right.
I was at the thrift store. I want to tell you all this. So I was at the thrift store um the other day and I saw this uh, it was a map. Now it was made out of a really flimsy little like aluminum metal, maybe some just really thin, and it was the United States, and all the states were like sharpied in, so you could see all the shapes of all the states. That was it. There was nothing else on this thing, and I really debated picking that up and using that as a little kind of like when you go to a show and you put where you're from,
Yeah,
you
depends.
like a guide and start putting people's like little, I think it might have been you could have made it magnetized. You could have magnetized this thing. And then put everybody that's on the chats, this chat and all the other chats, all the people we know, put them on. Okay. Put them on that thing. I didn't get it. I didn't pick it up. Now I wish I would have. Okay, there's a familiar name, Russell Kaufman. It's 30 minutes. And okay, 2 hours
So when 30 minutes close to Mike, Minnesota Mike.
and 30 minutes. Yeah. Huh. Okay. So
Yeah,
the other thing
the
too that
other
I wanted
odds are
to say
looking
real quick.
good. I got to check all my hives on Monday. I took a half day off work because it got up to 70 degrees. So I was able to open up the hives and actually look at them, and
Yeah.
got made sure they had enough bonded, and I put pollen patties on them all, so I should be good till springtime. 2 pounds of a hive alive and a half pound of pollen patty.
Okay. Now, when you say spring, what day are you thinking? March 1? March
Yeah,
15?
it, yeah, I'd say about the middle of March. If they're alive at middle of March, they won't die. First week of March is usually when most of the hives die around my area because the trees, silver maple trees, just started blooming at the first week of March, and everybody thinks they're good. And we still get one more cold spell, and they die. I'm not going to have that problem because we had that beautiful day Monday, partly cloudy and 70.
Yeah, I was able to get on 15% pollen patty and a half. And then I kept the 2 pound Hive Alive fondant that they had, and I also poured a little water onto their sugar brick.
Gotcha.
So they got quite a bit going on that they can choose from. And then that pollen, I really don't want them to. Yeah, I like to have a little bit of pollen left in that rapid round in spring, because all of the larvae, the hive beetle larvae, the bees run them up, and it becomes
Right.
this soup, this live, living soup. And then I take a bucket with me. I have like a tote type thing, and I have just laundry dish soap in there and water, and then I dunk it in and clean them out. So they're going, "Hi, Lee. Hello,
Really,
Lee."
well,
Um,
good to see.
so yeah,
Peabody's here. That's Carl. Is that right?
Ryan.
No.
I
Ryan.
Facebooked him and asked him to come
Yes.
on. So Peabody's in, And then there's a Tina Sebastian. Okay. It used to be March here in Southwest Colorado too, but lately, oh, wait, here, I remember how to do this. Hold on. Ah, sorry, I haven't did this, I hadn't done this. Too lately, we needed to feed in January. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm feeding. I've been feeding crazy since August. And I'm northeast Philadelphia, northeast of Philly. And there's Bill Lee. I remember that name. He's a lucky guy. I remember
Bill
him winning
Lee.
something. There's Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Joey.
Joey's here.
Joey. Hi, Joey. All my buddies came out. Haha. Let's see. I actually got called in. Ryan. Okay, I got called back to work since 2 p.m. Getting off at 6
No, so
a.m.
he's
Oh,
working.
okay. And Ryan, remind us where you're from. I'm starting this tally sheet here. Hi, Joey. Did Ryan tell us? I don't remember. But yeah, Tina, so at another chat we were just on a couple days ago, somebody was talking about the color of the buds on the maple trees. I think it was Matt from Sandy Valley. Southern, oh, Southern Maryland, that's right. Not Eastern Shore, right? Um, who's down there bought a bunch of sets off me one year. The Dial guy. Let's see.
Hour south of DC.
You're so or South of DC. Okay. Jason Cook. He's down there somewhere, North Shore or East Shore, or no, I don't get all that down there. I used to have a summer house in Maryland, but barely in Maryland. Not down that I knew anything about it. But anyway, back to I'm all over the place tonight. So back to the maple. Somebody was talking about the colors of the buds, and I was like, huh, my maple trees are so big, I can't see all that detailed stuff. So I had some maples. I had potted up some maples, and I want to put them in the ground here. And a guy told me a nursery guy told me to leave them in the pots for a year before you put them in the ground. Okay. So I can see now on those maples, since they're down like, ground level, I can see
Right.
this little green bud.
Right.
So I guess
You're like
it's
a
in that
dull
stage
green.
for a while. Hmm?
So like a dull green color.
Yeah. I mean, I know when they have the little maroon fuzzies, like from a distance you can see those, but so it'll be interesting to watch that maple, that little maple.
Yeah.
There's Matt.
Matt,
Hi, Matt.
there's Matt. You're starting to get a crowd now.
Woohoo.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
I am not real versed here at flipping back between YouTube and Gary's here too, of course.
very.
Um Yeah, I keep stepping on you, Tom. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I think there's a lag, Tom. I think there's a lag between your video and your talking. Oh,
Not on
say something.
StreamYard, I mean, should be saying
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on
YouTube has a
StreamYard.
delay.
Right.
I got
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
turned off.
yeah. I just keep stepping on you, and I don't know why. It's like I don't see your mouth moving, and then I'm hearing you. So I don't know. Let's see what Gary. Oh, Gary Stewart has offered to help the North American Beekeepers Facebook page, which I want to figure that. I'm trying to figure that out. But I have some black locust trees put out this year. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, I need more monitors. Oh, you mean no, no. That's okay. Oh, I had told I didn't call him, but Greg Burns, I said I think we should be kind of wrapping up by 8 o'clock, and then we'll all call over to them. I
Right.
mentioned something on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're having, heated, crazy discussion, well, then
You're
we'll end that. We'll work that out, talk that out. But I'd like to be a little respectful to them guys. So there's Bill. Hi, Bill.
how are y'all this evening?
Hey,
We're doing
Bill.
great.
Oh,
Doing good.
it's been a long day.
Did your
Oh,
maple
yeah?
trees bloom?
Huh?
Did your maple trees bloom?
They're working on it.
I know you said the other day they were getting close.
Yep, they're about looked at
Mm.
them again today, and they look like they're about 3 weeks out. So
Jeez.
I think that's we're going to be about first week of March, end of February, first week of March. Looks like it's going to be a pretty typical year.
yeah, they're
Spring.
calling for 5 to 8 inches of snow here Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a couple inch here and inch there,
Yeah.
maybe a 2 inch one. Supposed to be
Hey,
like a
Mike.
rain, snow, ice mix.
Yeah, we're getting the ice and freezing rain tonight and snow on Tuesday.
We're getting
So,
Okay.
freezing rain now.
yeah. So I spent most of
Where's
my
Clay?
afternoon.
Clay, tell me where you're from.
He's from Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yeah. Hi, Clay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I spent most of the afternoon in the USDA office.
Oh,
So,
Oh,
It's
do
oh,
tell.
fun.
well, let's put it this way. There's a person in that office when I filed my claim last year. They never sent it in.
Oh,
So, yeah. And then they never renewed me for last year.
So did you get it worked out?
It's in the process. I talked to a supervisor for USDA this afternoon, and they sent me a bunch of information, and she said, I'll do what I can do for you, but we'll see.
All
So
right. Don't hold your breath.
don't hold my breath. And I did express my frustrations to her about this person. So, yep. Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Right.
So
I got my registration from the state of Ohio.
good.
Good for this year. It's my 2B yards.
Good.
I just need the inspector to come out sometime, probably in April. That's usually when he comes out.
Yeah, I got to call and get mine scheduled.
I can call him and get it scheduled, but I'll be retired, so I'll probably be around.
Yeah.
So I had talked earlier when I first got on about the papers we read in the Dude class, a deep dive drone understanding or education or something like that. This is the one paper I like to figure out how to put that in chat, like a copy of that in chat.
Is it a link or is it just?
Well, we don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it in PDF. I think I don't know if this is the PDF here or if this is the actual. So I'm gonna figure that out as we talk. But very interesting study on drones, by the way. the drones in the worker cells and the drones in the drone cells aren't that much different in sperm volume and volatility of sperm.
Right.
Size, yes, we can all see that they're different,
Yeah.
but sperm wise, not much. So,
Where was that paper from, Nancy?
this is Tarpey. This is Tarpey, I believe. David Tarpey and somebody else. So I'm taking a class, Bill. I'm sorry, back up. I'm taking a class from Penn State, Robin Underwood. And these are the two
Yeah.
papers that we had to do. This is our second week, our first real week of classes. So we're encouraged to share it. What if I grab it? No, didn't work. We're encouraged to share
Maybe,
all the work.
maybe you can put it in the No Life Beekeeping Facebook page.
Yeah, you could put it on there.
I can do that.
Yep.
I can do that. Or I can put it on the North American Beekeepers page.
Oh yeah,
Is this the second one? Yeah. So can you see this? Let me navigate around here.
That was done by Juliana Rangel.
Yeah, okay, so you can see that here. So this is a review of the first paper.
Uh-huh.
So this is the peer review. So they poke some holes in it. They come up with a couple inconsistencies. You know, when you're doing major studies, you don't go into every avenue. You let some avenues on the shorter side, and so they did punch some holes in it. So this one is about environmental factors, nutrition, temperature, season, and age. They found I think 14 days, 14 to 16 days is the optimal age. And I've heard it said by old beekeepers, not scientists, but that the first rotation coming out of spring, they need another week. Because they're the first drones coming out.
Yep.
They didn't
I
address, they didn't,
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
yeah. Yeah. Now this paper wasn't on that specific part, but I think they came in at like 14, 16 days. The environment in which they pupate is far more important than after they leave the cell.
Uh-huh.
If they're going to be damaged, they come out damaged, is what some of this paper had found. So how long have you used drone comb or the older comb? So I'll make those available, those papers available in some means that you can get to them and hopefully download them.
Yeah, that would be
But-
great. I'd like to read that one.
yeah.
Cornell's
Yeah.
got one similar to it. And it goes really in depth with the drones, so they're finding more and more out about the drones. So
Yes, I'm far more interested in drones than I am queens.
yes.
So a couple years ago, I saw Judy. It's not right. Julia Moon. Julia. I'm not saying her name right. Just local clubs had her on, and it was so interesting. Just captivated me about drones. So that's kind of the avenue that whenever I hear anybody talk about them, I pipe up.
2 years ago, it was one of the Southern boys had it on their YouTube live or YouTube. They linked this article about drones and mating of queens and varroa mites. And any queens that got mated with more than 30 drones were eight times better on controlling mites in their hive. And if they were 35 plus, it was like 15 times. Just to get in that diversity of genetics.
Hmm.
And they said a queen should get mated at least 30 to 40 times if there's the right amount of drones.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they know the number yet. I mean, they can replicate it in a a lab, but I don't think they know. Yeah, so that tells us that the drones play a very, very important part. And I started drone flooding about 2 years ago. You have to be extremely confident in your mite control methods and have proven mite control methods
Yep.
before you can drone flood,
Yep.
because I'm putting in go ahead, Bill.
No, go ahead. I'm listening to you. I'm just agreeing with
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree too.
so I had watched Brad a while back, a year or two ago. I don't know how long's Brad been around from Manitoba, and he does a story frame where I had tried the drone, the green drone comb, but I could never get him to pull it out. And when I was in my third year of beekeeping, I was, calling the drone comb, and I would take it over. My neighbor had chickens, and we go over and watch the chickens. And I started seeing this resource, like all of this resource of building the comb, laying the drones, keeping them at the right temperature. They were purple eyed, so they were, and I was pulling them with the pick, and I've never found a mite on a drone. So I got
Really?
to thinking, man, yeah, never, never. So, and I did that for a year. Like I did that for a spring. Like it was, yeah, the story frames. Yeah, Joey, I'm getting there. I just got tired. So I thought, man, this is a lot of resources. My bees are, I'm just wasting. So I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to um get rid of my drones. I think they're important because they were trying to put them everywhere. Every little space they were trying to put drones. So right around that time, I guess Brad had talked about, well, I tried to do just a strip across the top. They didn't really do too well with that, but about putting that, cutting your foundation in half. These are deeps. Cutting your foundation in half and then sticking that in a frame, and then allowing the two sides to be as much drone comb as they want. So and they do pull that out. Maybe some of them not 100%. They'll do drone, and then the bottom quarter maybe will be worker, or I'll have them, but at least it gives them the opportunity to a healthy hive. Again, remember, we need an extremely healthy hive
Yep.
to have drones, but it allows them the leeway to make what they want. Hi, Randy. There's Tar Heel. So I started doing that and started drone flooding, and I don't know. Again, I'm not into queens. I mean, I love my queens, of course, but I just have some really healthier hives.
Right.
So
I started last year, but I know how to get those green frames combed. Put it deep as a honey box and put all your green frames in a honey box. And
yeah,
they'll fill them out
yeah.
and fill it up with honey, but then you got your comb frames for the next year.
Yeah, I ended up selling them. Well, the other thing, the specific problem to me in the green frames was I had ordered mediums, and I run deep brood boxes. So
Okay.
I ended up selling them and just doing it Brad's way up there. He calls them story frames, and I don't. I think there's a story behind it, but I do it just to drone flood.
So I got green frames, I got story frames, I got just, no foundation frames. That way
Yeah.
they do part brood, part drone, part worker. Green
Hi,
tops.
Keith. There's Keith. Where are you from, Keith? I don't recall. I'm trying to
Heath
do a
was
Charlie sheet here and write down where people are
South
from.
Carolina, North Carolina. Wait,
He's in,
I don't
yeah, I think
remember.
he's in Carolina somewhere.
yeah, he's one of the
Halifax,
Carolinas,
maybe.
North Carolina, maybe. I'm not sure.
Eastern
Yeah,
foothills of North
Yep, North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Wow, that just sounds cool.
he's on the coast side of North Carolina.
Did anybody see DC on? I got a question for him.
No, he's always on.
Yeah. Oh,
He,
well, yeah. I mean, it's what is it?
It
Quarter after
might be a
7
little
already.
early for him yet.
yeah, he might be an
He
air
and
talker.
He's on the West Coast.
yeah, he might not be done
Yeah,
his day. Gary,
There
not
he
yet.
is.
Oh, there he is, DC. Okay, so you can
yeah, he's
still you
eating.
can eat. You can eat, but I just wanted to say, so there's a woman, and I didn't catch, I can't remember her name, and this is why I'm asking you. She had been, and I saw that you were on her YouTube channel. This woman, she's a young woman, she's blonde hair, and she lived in Hawaii and now has since moved to near me in Pennsylvania. And I saw that you had mentioned her, and she had called me back, trying to think. I think it was we were going into fall. My markets are ramped up. Yeah, she moved. She moved over towards me. She lives within like 15 minutes of me, maybe 40 minutes. 15, 40 minutes, something like that of me. And she called and she asked if she could video in my yard. And I was like, well, yeah, but I mean, it was late in the year. I was busy with markets. So yeah, so I have, I need to figure out what her name is. Starts with a C, I think. Because now that I'm kind of like, spring's coming, I want her to come in video. Do you use my yard for her videos?
Right. She must be pretty close then.
You'll
Huh.
find her channel. I know, but her name's not on it. I have her name in my phone book, in my phone, my cell phone. Sec, I'll find her channel. Yeah, okay. See if you can find her name. Let's see, Kara, Cora.
Put DC to work.
You're interrupting his dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew he had to be on. He was just busy.
yes, Lee, Beekeeping Made Simple. That's her. That's her. Yep. Here's Matt. That was so cool that Matt told us his secret recipe. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, yeah, from Hawaii. Right. She went from Hawaii to Northeast Philly. I think her husband's from here. Don't hold me to that, but I think I think there's some connection.
Yeah, it looks like maybe she's doing some videos in Pennsylvania now because it's a winter video. So
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
is it? I
gonna
want
have
to.
a live in a couple
No
days.
there's no leaves on the trees in the background.
I'm curious to see because I met her through the Philadelphia Bee Club Guild. It's called Philadelphia Guild, Beekeepers Guild. So I'm curious to see if she is making videos, if I know the yard, if I know whose yard it is up here.
She's got a
It's a
whole
short.
website.
It's a short.
She even has a website.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put the
Yeah,
link
she's got quite a few years under her belt as a beekeeper.
look in the
I should.
private chat. Look
Oh,
in the private
Larissa.
chat, Nancy.
Oh, yay. No, there it
Yeah.
is. Larissa. When I say it started with a C, I knew better than to say that.
Yeah, the link
Larissa.
to that YouTube, that YouTube video is in the private chat for you.
All right. Let me go. Let me go look.
Oh yeah, she had a lot of
I gotta.
hives. She was a commercial beekeeper.
Yeah.
Right.
Where? Oh, private chat. Here it is. I don't see anything. Bill.
Oh, stay right there.
Private.
Stay right there. There it is.
Okay. Stay right here. Oh, there she is. What if I click on it?
You'll see it. I don't think anybody else will.
Oh.
Right, there's her YouTube.
Yeah, I've got her YouTube pulled up.
I got her website pulled up too. She got a beekeepingmadesimple.com.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. I figured it out. I figured it out. Man, this is pushing buttons, I'll tell you. So,
She was pretty well known in Hawaii then,
Evidently.
giving classes, everything.
Yep.
yeah. Seven Sparrows Farm. Huh. I just saw if I walk through Seven Sparrows Farm. That is not familiar to me. She's definitely in Pennsylvania. She's definitely in Pennsylvania
Yep.
because of. I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be a. That's got to be a company we all buy off of up here. It's called Forest Hills Amish, and it looks like. Oops. Oh boy. Okay. It looks like that equipment she's working with is something from Forest Hill or close to it. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's been a lot of videos lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Bill. I mean, Tom, you had one too, didn't you? You just
Yeah,
put one up in the last.
a little short one. I did one on my how I build my swarm traps and how inexpensive they are and how light they are and how effective they are. And I think I did a couple shorts too.
Yeah, she's got a line of merchandise and everything else.
Yeah,
Larissa. Okay. There you go. That answers my question.
yeah, she,
Yeah, Forest Hill Bee Equipment's in Paradise.
Yeah, nickel mines to be exact.
Yep.
Nickel mines. Yeah, I get a bunch of Amish kids running around, 8 fingers. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're supposed to do video. What's Lee saying here? Supposed to do videos for YouTube? I knew I was forgetting something. Oh, here you go. DC. Yeah, it's a real nice lady to talk
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it comes across on her. She's got like 43,000 subscribers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a few. I think I'm up to 60. Woohoo!
I'm up to, I don't know how many I have. Not too many. Maybe 250. I don't look very often.
I haven't looked in the past few days.
So, some really cool good
No,
news is
253.
253.
Yeah, 253 I have.
So,
Yeah.
I got a sponsor for my YouTube channel, and it's our buddy Bill.
Yeah.
Shenandoah Bee Supply is going to be my sponsor.
There's your
So I
check.
have to,
There's your first check
yep.
right there.
Oh wow. Yeah, so I'm looking for a I want a used camera because I don't want to I have limited budget to get a couple things. I want a decent camera and a mic because this live on Wednesday is going to move as soon as the weather breaks and it's daylight. I don't know when that's going to be. I can do the math, but these are going to be done from my yard. So I'd like just a used camera because guaranteed I'm going to run over it with my golf cart. So I want something it's got to be durable. Everything gets run over with the golf cart. At some point I find everything I've ever owned smashed into mud or smashed into tiny little pieces or hanging in like some weeds to the left, which there's no way they would have gotten there unless they bounced off the golf cart.
Well, I'll say
So
this: if you drop a microphone off a golf cart, you might as well just throw it away and buy another one. Because it won't be any good after that. Amazon sells great condenser microphones too. They're fairly cheap.
Yeah. The little fuzzy, they look like little round, caterpillars.
Like that. That's a desk mic. And then you can get the lapel mics too that look like the little fuzzy caterpillars. If you're going to do it outside, that's what I would get to do that with as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick it to me. I got my hat. Oh, look, I got my new hat for the year.
Can't see it.
He thinks somebody's here. He thinks somebody's here. Oh, let me turn my background off. But I'm so excited every time. This time of the year is when I have to go get my new hat. So this is the style I wear. There's a little chin strap. But this is this, and then depends on how long my hair gets. Sometimes I cut a hole in the top and then my hair comes out the top. But this has some real nice vent holes. See these vent holes?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's super cool. I got it from Tractor Supply. It's like $16. And then with this, I wear just the veil that goes on the top of the hat. You know those veils that are
Yep.
just the mesh, and then sometimes I have to, depending on the hat, sometimes I have to open up the top of the veil where the elastic is, and knot it a little bit so it fits tight. I need it to fit tight around this black here. And now the bees don't really go in these holes. They don't, and they don't even go in the top here. When I cut it and put my hair out the top, they don't bother with my hair. But that's all I wear. Well, that's not all I wear, Lee. For protection is a hat and a veil. That's it. So my hat, I spent $16 on this bad boy. He'll last me all year. But that, I want to show you that.
Yeah. I like to catch swarms off the Amish beekeepers.
What'd you say, Tom?
I said I like to catch swarms from the Amish at my brother's farm. About 3 of them every year because they don't treat.
No, they don't.
So I know these are really good genes. These are, that's one thing I don't bring up too often, but I know the Amish beekeepers around my brother's farm. They have no different losses than we have, and they don't treat their bees at all. They've already gone through the process of Mother Nature of having survivor hives 20 some years ago, and now
Yeah.
the genetics across all their yards.
Yep.
I'm slowly filling my yard up with their swarms.
Yeah, I lived out in Lancaster for about 20 years. I lived amongst them. Well, that's not true. I lived on the west side of the county, and they're mostly on the east and the south. Lancaster County is divided up into counties. You talk about what part of the county you're from, like division of a four, like a four-way. Where's Dot House?
It's easy to remember DC's name. Dave.
I don't lose hive tools. I don't lose hive tools, believe it or not. I
I
use
don't
the
need, I
ones
still
with
have
the
my
wood.
original tool from 2018.
You're one of the lucky ones then. I'm forever losing one.
Usually,
Yeah,
if I
I
do
don't lose them.
misplace one, it's usually in the hive.
Yeah.
I'll go back in that hive and say, oh, there it is.
I sewed
Yeah,
a
the
magnet
mini
into
tools.
my jacket in my sleeve. I sewed a magnet in, and I keep my hive tool on it stays on the magnet now, so I don't lose it.
I like the hive tools with the wood in the
Yep.
middle because I'm gloveless, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't have that wood, it hurts my hand. Like
Yeah.
I can't. Seems like I can't do what I need to do because I'll end up I hurt my hand.
Yeah, I've left hive tools in hives. I've dropped them on the ground and put them through a lawnmower deck. I've put them through the side of the barn. You name it, I've hit them with lawnmowers, and I find them, but after I find them, they're no good. So
Yeah, put swarm trap next to beekeepers.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
never
there's a
caught
pretty big
swarm.
Amish beekeeper just the farm behind my brother's farm. And he says every swarm comes from that direction. He's seen them fly in
Mhm.
a couple times.
So I got a question. What
Mhm.
does everybody think of the Sting Stopper jackets and suits and gloves?
Sting stopper.
Yeah, it's a name brand. That's a name brand of a jackets and suits.
I don't know. I don't wear jackets too often. Mostly just a veil.
Is that the brown one that Charlie had on in his last video? Is
Yeah,
that a
they
Sting
come in.
stopper?
It's olive green. It's actually olive green and white, and you get white ones too. And you can get a round veil, and they make a set of lightweight goatskin gloves that's made of the same material. Best jacket you ever tried. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have
Yeah,
any
the
experience, Bill.
Sting Stopper, it was made for Fox and Hound, and they carry it, but they sell it. It goes other places too. So
Are you thinking about picking it up?
yeah, I am. I ordered one today to try to see how it works and see if it's everything that they say it is. So
Right. I probably only wear a jacket probably 2 times a year, 3 times a year. My pool honey,
yep,
or when I get them during into them during the winter time. That's about it. Summertime, I'm usually just a veil. And a lot of people, they don't
I
wear
caught
anything.
myself. I caught myself last
Whatever.
spring, last fall, October, a couple times when I was feeding. I didn't even have a veil on. I just didn't think of it. And then as
Yeah,
soon
I
as I
forget.
do realize I don't have it on, I stop and put it on because everything after that then is my fault.
yep. I I'm guilty of it too, Nancy. I'll go in the yard and not have a veil or anything on, but then I realized I get popped in the forehead one time, and that was all it takes for me to go put a veil on.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Well, that's what I like
I'd come
about
from
this hat.
home from work, hop up in the yard and start checking bees out. And before I get it, I said, "Oh shoot, I didn't put anything on." Till one of the
The
bees
rim.
reminded me, "You didn't put your veil on."
yeah,
See, the rim on this is the completely all the way around, and it's wide enough. I'd say that's about 6 inches, and it
yeah,
keeps that veil. It's gonna
off your
keep the veil
face.
out.
Yep.
Yep.
So
So
that's a type of hat I like, the round hats with the veils around. So because if
yeah.
I put on a European veil, it will inevitably end up plastered against my face.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a good thing
I
to have
like the
happen.
round ones too.
Yeah.
Veils.
I have a jacket. I worked for a guy, ran about 200 hives, just a couple months outside of Philly, and I had to buy a jacket for that because they weren't mine. They weren't my
Yeah.
bees, so I didn't know I was the first one in them that particular spring, and oh, it was a mess. I get there and it'd be a deep and 7 mediums coming out of spring over and over and over. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, what he was doing was after extraction, he just put all the mediums back on top and never collect them. So brood, she'd be at the top because of the heat, you know. She'd be all the way up box 6 in the
Yep.
middle. I had 6 boxes of mediums with brood in them.
Yep.
So my husband just said amateur. But I had to. So anyway, I have a jacket from that. I have a jacket. I bought a jacket for that. But
YouTube just let me know that you were live. A little late.
Yeah, I got mine
yeah,
about
an
6
hour late. Your time,
Yeah, I
your
got
clock's
mine.
off.
I got mine at 6 o'clock. It said you were live.
Uh-uh.
You just never know.
YouTube sends them out when they feel like it.
Yeah.
I had a cold.
Yeah.
Yep.
My worst thing is I had a what do they call that when they turn it a worker bee, worker queen, or well,
yeah.
Laying
Drone
worker.
layer.
Yeah,
Laying
laying
worker.
worker.
lane worker. That's what I was looking for, and it was a pretty big hive lane worker. And I went to the other side of the yard, dumped them all out, and I was about ready to leave. And there was a red-tailed hawk nest above me, which I didn't know about. It went and dive bombed me. I turned around and stepped right in them, and I was wearing shorts
Ah,
and just my
Aw.
jacket on. I think I took 20 or 30 stings in each leg. Too bad I didn't have a video of it.
yeah.
Oh, this hat from Tractor Supply was $16. It's a
Yeah.
nice. It's
Yep.
a sturdy hat. This will last
Yeah.
me all year.
I sell a straw hat veil that's not quite as tall as that, and it's just about as wide in the brim with a veil attached to
Yeah.
it. And
Oh, I
I keep
wash
one of
my
those in my
veil.
truck.
I wash. I'm a big proponent of washing everything you wear. Now this hat, I probably will donk this at some point, but I wash my veil and washing suits. I remember showing up at a wax dipping fair, and a guy had his suit there, and it was black. It had black mold on it.
Yep.
And I thought, "Oh my." I guess there's some people that just never wash their suits.
Yeah.
I mean,
We wash ours every year after we pull honey. That's
that's
when we
it?
pull. Yeah, that's it. We wash once a year.
About once a year, too, maybe twice.
Yeah. Depends on how bad it gets. But typically it's once a year after we pull honey. And now I've got the suit that I wear the jacket I wear in my yard, and then I've got a jacket that I wear for mentoring, and that gets washed weekly in during the bee season because I'm going to different yards and you don't know what you're going to
Mhm.
pick up. So, yeah.
Yeah, Natalie's hat is hers is more of hers isn't really it's a picture of a hat. More it doesn't have a rim in the back. The hat that's on Natalie's picture. It's a cute hat, but it doesn't have the back here. It's just the front. But what's DC saying? Once in 4 years? Ugh, oh, DC!
How can you stand to
The
smell
pheromones
yourself?
the pheromones you got going on that. Holy crap. Good syrup.
I think I'm making.
Oh, I thought you'd save the water from washing it. Feed it back to the bees. That's what I thought he was getting at with that comment. Oh, here we go. We got something to talk about. Ryan threw something out here. Off topic, but I'm thinking of making all my bottom boards tilted toward the front. Yes.
Yep.
Build in wedge.
Yep.
Yes.
A door wedge works really great. So
Yeah, you only
Fire
need them
filter.
what?
you only need a 1/4 inch to make water run.
Quarter inch. Okay, quarter inch. I didn't know how much.
1/4 inch per foot to make water run.
1/4 inch
Right.
per foot.
Yep.
So we got what, 18 inches? What's the bottom board? 18 inches?
Yeah, you need
Yeah, so-
almost
3/8 to a half,
almost 3/8 to make it run.
right?
Oh, DC. Well, DC, he's talking. Okay, DC is still talking a little bit about his suit, but it's the pheromone from the bees, the poop, the stings that are on it. Like
Yep.
it's not from the inside out. Not your
Yeah, it's the outside in.
grubbiness.
It's the outside in,
It's
DC.
the outside part. That's why you wash your
Yeah.
suits and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, wood shims on the back. Yeah, I only have, I think I only have 2 or 3 solids left down in my yard. I run screens, but yeah.
Even with screens, you should still tilt a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
'Cause
they're
you'll-
tilted a
You'll
smidge.
still get a little bit of water. If you don't tilt it, you'll still get a little bit of water that'll run back inside. So
Well, I tilt mostly in winter. Like I just slide in a little board. I've got little boards all over the place down there. You'll get to see all this when I go live, but I have these little I don't know, little pieces of wood, 1 inch by 1 inch or whatever,
Yeah.
half inch by, and I slide them up underneath. And the reason I do that more in winter is because the condensing hives, the water runs out the sides in the front porch.
Yep.
It's running down the walls and out the sides. And if you don't tilt it in winter, you're going to get ice will form, and then it'll back up, and then you'll get more wet than you really want to be. That makes sense?
Yep, it does.
Yeah, I
Okay.
leave mine tilted all year round.
Mm-hmm.
My stand is actually tilted, so all my hives just sit on my stand, slightly tilted. I don't change it from summer to winter.
Yeah. If it's a hive that I created in the summer, and
Right.
for whatever reason, it's one of the things, part of my winterizing is to make sure everybody's kind of lifted up a little bit.
How do you know by your zippers when it's time to wash your jacket, Matt? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, what's the zipper telling us?
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
Oh, this is interesting, Bill. Huh.
Yeah, that's how I was taught 54 years ago to use smoke.
Yeah,
We smoked the
you know, I
yard.
don't.
We figure out I've got cinder blocks sitting throughout my yard out in front of the
Yeah.
hives, and the wind either is blowing from the southeast, which is going to take the smoke up the yard and towards the front of the hives, or it's blowing out of the northeast, which brings it down the yard and towards the hives. And so I was always taught, you don't smoke a hive, you smoke the yard. So as a kid, it was my job to get the smoker going and keep the smoker going, standing at these cinder blocks in my grandfather's bee yard, and we just smoked the bee yard.
I kind of do that, but didn't know what I was doing, because sometimes when I'm working, like mine are clustered. I have like 5 hives clustered, and they're clustered all throughout. And then sometimes I'll just put my smoker in a central location, which is what you're saying, whatever way the wind's blowing, so that it blows back on that group, and I can go in and quick do my thing. I'm usually not doing too much in the hive when I do that.
Yeah, and the only time that I've started using smoke in a beehive is when I'm pulling honey. Because
Oh, that's the only time I absolutely do not use smoke.
well, I
when I'm
use it
pulling honey.
because when you start pulling those Demarest hives apart, those bees get rather testy, and they will come after you because you're
Yeah,
taking their
well,
home away from them.
That top box
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
have
as
a
we
queen.
So they get a little upset when you do that.
yeah, I don't use smoke at all when I'm pulling honey. I use a fume board. I push
Yeah.
them down
Yep.
with a
Something
fume
Yeah.
board.
I've never used a fume board. I'm thinking about trying it this year, but
Oh,
I don't
they
know.
are the bomb.
So do you
I
You
you
have
gotta
put it
get
on
some sun.
before? Do you put it on before you pull the supers or after you pull the super?
No. Before I
Before.
pull this. So say I'm gonna go down and pull supers. So what I'll do is I have 2 fume boards and all mine are in full sun. My hives are in full sun.
Yeah.
So I have 2 fume boards. I spray them up pretty good. I stick it on one, and you don't put it tight. You kind of cockeye a little bit because the bees are going to get feisty with that board. But so you don't want them to feel trapped and feisty. You want them to be able to see some daylight to come out the tops a little bit, but they go straight down. And then I'll put it on one. I'll let it, and then I'll put it on another one, and then I'll go back to the first one. I'll pull that first super, pull frames out of it, and then drop the smoke, and I'll spray it again, drop it on the next super, go to the hive next to it, do the same thing, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I could probably buy more fume boards,
So
but I
you're
have
only
2
leaving
at
it
work.
on for a few minutes.
Oh yeah, 10 minutes
Oh yeah.
at max. I mean, if it's on longer than 10 minutes, it's not doing its job, then the sun's you're doing something wrong. Like, 10 minutes should push them down at least 2 supers. So you can pull them off and then spray it again if you need to. It's usually hot enough in July though. They get cracking, those bees. They go right down.
So
Yeah.
do you put it?
I'm kind of like
do you put-
DC's dad. I've
Yeah.
gotten to a point where I don't smoke or anything anymore.
So when you put that fume board on, are you setting it on square or are you kind of cocking it to
No,
the side?
cockeyed. Cockeyed.
Okay.
It's not square, it's not even, it's not like an inner cover. You're tilting it a little bit because if you have a lot of bees in there,
Yeah. I leave a
they
little bit of I just don't slide it all the way forward. I leave a little gap in the front of it. So if any bees do come up, they go right back into the box.
So I'm
Yeah.
starting this year to carry Honey Be Gone. I've never carried it before in the past. So, I've heard
Well, I'm good because I
heard
need
a
a
lot
jar.
of beekeepers overuse it. They use too much or they leave it on overnight or something like that.
No,
So
5 minutes.
the fume boards come black. They're
yeah, they
already
do.
black, Gary.
Yeah.
And if you leave it on 24 hour, you're getting it mixed up with an escape board. The triangle
Right.
escape boards.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking all my supers off, putting a board on, putting all my supers back. Like, why would you do that? That's just
Right.
ridiculous amount of work.
Okay. And the smell doesn't get in the honey?
No.
No, it's
Okay.
gone. You have to spray it. So you have to spray that again after like 2 supers. You're going to be spraying it again. It smells like almonds, but there's no residual from that. By the time I get up to the garage with those supers, there's no
Okay.
smell.
Like I said, I've
Nope.
never used one before, so I really
What
don't
I-
know how to use them. That's why I
What
was
I
asking.
do, Bill, is I use the fume boards and then I stack all my supers on a board with a cover on it so I don't get any robbing. And
Yeah.
then I'll take all of them and I stand them up on I have a little wall. I stand them up on the wall and I use a blower to blow out the rest of the bees.
Yeah, that's what
Then
we
I
did
throw-
last year. We used a blower to
Then I throw 'em in
blow
the
the rest of
barn.
the bees out.
But I
Okay.
use the fume board to get 90 to 95% of them. There's just a few
Yeah.
stragglers left. And then
Okay.
I throw them into my barn and close the door. keep any bees from getting in. It works pretty good.
I use, so I don't use a blower because you might as well just, all those bees are gonna die if you blow them. They're just gonna blow
No,
them
I
inside
don't.
out.
It doesn't bother them one bit.
So I use the triangle skateboard upside down on top of those supers. So any of those little residual bee, the 5 or 6 that are still in that box or whatever, they can
Good
come out
idea.
through at night. No, I leave them sit out overnight. They're tight. I mean, those boxes are real tight. I have to use a tool the next day to get them open, and then the fume board's up top so they can come up and out.
Right, that's a good idea, Nancy. I never thought of using a skateboard upside down on top.
Hmm.
No bees will get in and just those bees will get out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that
You can
idea.
even
I
put a
have,
little. Yeah, you have them. I even put a little something. Even this coffee cup would work. You just put it over the top of, and then so then that'll keep other bees that are flying by stopping and checking out your fume board because they smell the honey. So I put a little something just over the top, and then the bees are forced to come out those
right.
escapes.
Okay.
I like that idea. See, always learn something.
Yeah, we're always finagling something we got. Well, it's because I had
Everybody does things a little bit
two escape
differently.
boards, and I didn't have any use for them anymore because I do the fume boards. And see, so he made 28 escape boards. Gee, that's a lot of work if you don't like them.
Yeah, I think I have 7 fume boards, but I use like 5 of them. And I'll set up 5 of them, work down there, set up the next 5, work 5 more, and then 5 more. And then I stack them on
Yeah, I just
boards.
use.
And
Hmm.
then I have to buy 2 escape boards because I usually have 2 stacks of supers.
Yeah. I only need 2 fume boards because I work 2 hives back and forth, and then I use them and move to another. Yeah, you can use a towel. Somebody mentioned, but that lays on the frames, and they get stuck in it,
Yeah.
and it's
They
a
get
Yeah.
hung
mess.
up in towels.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen it done on like paper towels and regular towels, and eh, you could easily make your own fume board for sure.
Yeah.
I made my first one. It worked fine. I think still have it.
Yeah. I ordered a bunch of fume boards. So I'll have them in stock. Because I know there's people here in the valley that use it. So
Yeah, that's all I use now, fume boards. I used to
I like
use
fish.
skateboards and I was like, Nancy, why am I picking these things up to put that skateboard in?
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can be
And I
lifting.
think the fume boards got out more bees or the same amount of bees as the skateboard did overnight. Because there would still be some bees left over. And it's the same thing with fume
Oh
boards. You
yeah,
still have a few bees left
these
over.
skateboards, they get clogged up. You get a drone, you get a couple drones in there, forget about it.
Oh yeah.
Whatever reason there's drones in your supers. I mean, there shouldn't be, but
Yeah,
they are
that
sometimes.
happened.
You never, you know,
I forgot
anything
about
can
that,
happen.
Nancy.
Yeah, the drones get stuck in there, and then you're really screwed because then you got a bunch of pissed off bees, and your supers are still full.
That's funny.
And I don't wait. Here's the other thing too. Someone's probably thinking, I don't wait until they're capped. The the honey is more viscous. It's more, it has less moisture if it's uncapped. Cappings hold moisture. So I pull mine before. Now, yeah, some of it's capped. You're not going to be that good. But most of mine is uncapped, and I do the test, and I've never had honey ferment on me or anything like that, but
So do you test in the apiary, or do you wait till you get back to test?
I don't test. I wait to see if it goes. No, I don't test. I mean, I test, I do the shake. I shake every single frame because that's what I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
Every single frame that comes out of, I don't pull full
Right.
boxes
If it,
off.
if
I
it
just pull
doesn't come
frames
out, you're
out.
usually good.
Yeah, I pull frame, I shake it, I put another box. Pull frame, shake it, put it in the box. Pull frame, shake it, put it in the box. Put new ones in. Like I don't take off full boxes. I wouldn't.
I
Okay.
do.
Yeah, we
The
do
only-
too, and I'd put a refractometer on every box.
But I don't
Yeah.
check every box, only on subsets frames that I think might be a little high. That's all. If it's capped, I don't check them.
See, capped is higher moisture than uncapped. Because caps
Not
hold the
always.
moisture in.
No, not
It should
always.
already be below. It should be already down to 17% or less, or
Yeah, it
18% or
should
less.
be. They won't cap
Oh,
it
I'm
until
pulling my
it's.
honey July 4th.
Yeah, that's when I pull mine.
Yeah, that's when I pull mine. Typically the 4th of July, because I'm off.
Yeah, I
Well,
get
it's going
very
to change
little.
this year because I'm off.
I get
So
very
your
little
cap,
uncapped honey.
are your caps dry? Are they dark?
No, they're
So
dry.
the cappings are touching the honey, or
They're
is there
dry.
an air gap between?
They're dry.
They're dry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dry.
You know, if I pull them off and I don't extract them the same day, then yes, get wet.
Oh, so the other thing too, like there's all these caveats. Most of my frames will go through the freezer at -6 for 7 days. I can fit 5 frames in each, or five boxes in each freezer. So the first 10 boxes I pull are sitting in a freezer for 7 days, and by then I can pull another
That's right.
10. Yes. And that's the final dehydration for me, is that freezer. But -6 for 7 days. Don't put it in an old freezer that you don't use anymore and you want to, you just have it sitting around as a beer freezer or something. Has to calibrate your freezer, because if you don't do the -6 for 7 days, you're going to have all kinds of stuff growing in them. That's why people say, oh, I freeze them, it didn't work. Huh? Your freezer's not calibrated right.
Okay.
But anyway, so I run them through. And I got 10 frames to extract, 10 boxes to extract. I put another 10 in the freezer, and I just roll that way.
I see DC said he said 16%. I don't
Yeah.
like 15, 16%. I'd
Yeah,
rather have 17%.
we had it down this year because of the drought. We had
Yeah.
14.5, 15% honey in some
Oh.
of the boxes.
It
It's a lot
doesn't
thicker.
move.
Huh?
Yeah, it doesn't
It
move.
doesn't move.
No, it doesn't. And
Yeah, you're waiting forever.
that's honey you have to just scrape off the frame and let it sit there and drain in the cappings tank.
Yeah.
Okay, DC, why do I want to? Okay, here we go. And DC, this could be climate related too. So, I mean, I know you're way over there, but why do I want to freeze my frames unless they had other bugs in them? Or are you meaning for, I'm meaning for everything, anything, everything and anything. Small hive beetles, yeah. Anything and everything. There could be some small, there could be some moth larvae in there, which I doubt. I mean, that's usually in the brood, but it's just the way I started doing it. Yeah.
My big freezer broke this year and it's all rusted. There's a 50-year-old freezer. It's all
No.
rusted, so I'm not replacing it.
Yeah, I've got 100, either 100 or 150 cubic foot walk-in freezer at the store.
You got it set.
That's spoiled. You're spoiled.
Yeah, I am. That's where all my frames are setting from last year right now,
Right.
in the freezer.
Freezer. Turn it on for a couple days and then it's all sealed
it's-
up.
It stays on year round because I've got a half a pallet of global patty sitting in there too.
Right.
Um. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh,
Well,
so
it's
then,
almost 8 o'clock.
after I extract, I take the supers out down to the yard on the most northern end of my yard, and they clean it up, and then they'll sit out in the sun until I come and I put them in totes. I put them in
Yep.
totes, 22 of them in totes, and then 2 totes fit in each freezer. So I freeze them
Yeah.
again. One more go around before they get put in the basement.
Yeah, that's what ours are sitting in. They're sitting in a big Rubbermaid totes, and we tape
Yep.
them up. You know, we put the lid on it, tape across, and then we tape around the lid with duct tape to seal it up, and then stick it in the freezer, and they stay in the freezer all winter.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can't. I can't do. I don't tape them or nothing. I just click them and then.
Yeah.
I don't even go that
So
far. Once they clean them up in the sun, I just put them in my honey room in my that's I got a door on it and keep it closed up. And I overwinter in that. I don't freeze them anymore, nothing.
Yeah, I did that one year out here in the valley, and I hung them on a rack, and came back in the spring, cleaned them up. I thought it got them pretty good, covered with wax moth larvae.
Well, that'd be
Ooh.
bad.
Yep. So back in the
Hey, Dennis.
bleach solution they went, and then back in the freezer. So that's where they've been. That's where they go all the time now.
Right.
So what's D saying? I want to store food frames. What kind of food? What do you mean food? You talking bee bread
Bee bread,
or pollen?
or
You don't want.
pollen.
You don't. That's no good pollen. I wouldn't give them
You
that
can't
pollen
store pollen
frame.
frames and use them in the spring. They won't
No.
touch it. Has to be
Yeah,
fresh
they don't.
pollen.
Yeah. Or pollen.
Yeah. What's that called? What's that term called when they entomb it? Like they can't even get. They put something over top of that pollen where it's just shut off from the hive completely.
Yeah, they put
What's that
propolis
called?
over it. They put propolis over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's entombing, I think they
And
call
layer.
it. That's really
Does
bad. You don't
anybody
ever
know
want to put that back in.
how long pollen is good for once they bring it into the hive? 2 weeks, 2
48
months?
hours.
I don't know.
48
Pollen?
hours.
48 hours? 2
Yep.
days. Okay.
After 48 hours, you don't want. They'll bring. Well, as long as they're bringing fresh in, forget about it.
Well, I know.
But yeah, 48 hours.
I knew it had to be put it on fresh. Yeah, I just scrape all those pollen frames every winter. I'm always if the tulip poplars
Encapsulate, maybe.
don't get
Yeah.
rained out, I'm always pulling pollen frames out, scraping them.
See, I don't do that either. I let them make as many drones as they want, and I never pull a pollen frame out.
I'll get honey, I'll get pollen bound.
That's a queen
All,
issue.
all 10 frames pollen in them.
That's a queen
Yeah,
issue.
that's a queen issue there.
No, that's
If
tulip
we're
poplar.
pollen,
When you got whole thousands of tulip poplar trees.
nope. I'll have to disagree. That's a queen issue right there. Pollen bound. Yeah, it's a queen issue. Well, so the pole lines. So hold on. There's a pole line that is bred to hoard pollen.
You don't know poplar
I don't,
trees.
I don't have any of those.
They get 100 feet tall. They have flowers on them, and they're big flowers.
Tulip poplar. Oh, the tulip poplar over here are in a regress because of climate change, and they're focusing on growth. We haven't had a decent tulip poplar pollen in about maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe. They're not putting it out. They're focusing on growing right now over here.
I have 5 of them in my yard, and 2 of them are over 100 feet tall. And there's some bigger ones in the neighborhood. But if it rains, since they're big flower and they're pointing up, then all the pollen gets washed out and it's not an issue. But if we have 4 or 5 days, they'll fill the whole hive up with pollen in 5 days. The queen can't lay fast enough. Yeah, I'll do the pollen trap too. If I see that issue.
We'll have to maybe I'll see if I can get somebody on to talk about like I know a beekeeper up here runs to Jamie Ellis for every question. And Jamie Ellis didn't have an answer for pollen bound. He's never heard of it. Not never heard of it, but he doesn't have it.
I think it's just unique areas.
Oh no, it's here. My neighboring beekeepers here talk about getting pollen bound. They had that pole line, but they talk about getting pollen bound. I've never been pollen bound.
Right.
But I'd be curious to push all the pollen out to the side, 1 and 2, 9 and 10. Just push it out and see what they do with that. Yeah, pollen bound is a queen issue. I'll say it over and over again.
The pollen will be so thick, it'll be everywhere. It's amazing.
DC's yelling at me. You see that? No, capital letters. Can you explain that, Nancy? Okay, yes. So pollen bound, when you get pollen bound, it's a queen issue. She's not laying up to, so the bees don't have enough to do in terms of taking care of brood. Like they don't have enough to do, so they're all foraging and they're coming in and they're just bringing too much in, and it's like, they're out shopping. They're not taking care of the kids.
Nancy, I'll have 6 frames of brood and I'll have 6 frames of pollen. And double deeps, I'll have 10 frames of pollen and 6, 7 frames of brood.
So do you checkerboard
Every
then?
cell.
Okay.
Out.
I just looked this up through AI, and you're both correct. DC and you're both correct.
Yeah.
A hive that's becoming pollen or nectar bound is because there's not enough room for the queen to lay up empty cells, or she doesn't have enough empty cells to lay. But it can be a queen issue because if the queen is laying poorly, the workers will backfill those cells that she hasn't laid yet with pollen or nectar. So you're both correct.
Because they don't have brood to tend to.
Right.
They don't have enough brood to tend to.
You're both correct.
Right. But when I say I'm pollen bound, that's because they filled up even all their honey frames up with pollen. They'll put it everywhere.
Oh. They can't get into, they won't, they can't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know about
queen
that.
excluder on it, but they'll put it everywhere.
Yep. Gary's right too. They're going to put it somewhere. And if there's empty cells in the brood nest, they will definitely put it there if they don't have enough space above to put it where they want to put it. I mean, I've seen them fill up a honey super with pollen, but
Yeah,
shows how
like
must be
Brian said,
invisible.
it's a pollen flow.
Yeah.
It is a pollen,
Yeah.
and it only lasts for a week, 4 or 5 days, and you'll
Yeah,
have a
but
whole
Oh,
box full of pollen in 4 days. Queen doesn't lay that fast. She only in 4 days she can only lay one frame. That's
yeah.
how
So
fast it
DC, it's
comes in.
okay. You don't have to agree. You don't have to. We can agree to disagree. You don't have
I
to.
know.
It's okay.
I'm just telling you how fast the pollen comes in when those
It
tulip
must be
poplars are
invisible.
blooming and it's not raining.
What's Joey saying? It must be invisible.
evidently he had a comment back here somewhere.
Oh yeah. What do you
Yeah,
southern
there it
boys
is.
see? What
Joey
do you?
says pollen bound can happen here fast. Yeah, so he did have a comment and everybody missed it. Sorry, Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blackberries. Okay. Agree with everything. This would be no fun. Yeah, Ryan. Right. Exactly. We agree. We love the bugs, but other than that, we can go. We can all get carried away here.
Yeah.
But we leave friends. We
Yeah.
leave
Usually,
friends.
I'm a bad queen. I'll get nectar. I'll get nectar bound, honey bound. But
Mhm.
every once in a while, I'll get pollen bound. And I know what the
Yeah, I
cause
know
is.
what a lot of pollen is, DC. I've seen a lot of pollen. My friends get pollen. My friends got on this whole pole line uh kick a couple years back, and I didn't for whatever reason. I just didn't get any, and they have problems with being pollen bound, and it is part of the genetics of the pole line to be a little more. They were bred to hoard pollen, so yeah,
Yep.
and propolis for that matter.
Yes, they are
Okay, DC.
prolific propolis makers.
Yes.
They are.
You should hear farmers talking groups. They don't agree. I bet you.
Oh, you should have been at the USDA today.
Now, Bill, what are you going there for? I missed it. Like, what part of is
I
it the
have
farming or the bee?
I have ELAP and NAP insurance on my bees. So the ELAP insurance
Oh,
is on the colonies themselves. If
okay.
like last year in the drought, I had colony loss because of the drought. So, and I also, the NAP insurance is for crop insurance. So honey is your crop. So I had a 50% or better reduction in my crop.
Right.
So
Mm,
that's why I carry
hmm
that insurance. And needless to say, when I walked out of the door, I was furious because they
mm.
didn't file my claim from 2023. And then tried to say I wasn't covered in 2023 and I wasn't
Wow.
covered in 2024, but I got to looking at the paperwork today and I am covered and I was covered. They just didn't feel like filing the claim, is what it was.
Right.
So I have a meeting with that person's supervisor tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't run pollen traps. Some of my girlfriends that have bees and are pollen bound, they run pollen traps to try to alleviate. And
I
that
run
is,
pollen traps, and
but it seems like it makes
any
it worse.
frames I pull out of my hives, I just scrape it and throw it away because it's old.
Yeah. It seems it makes it worse for them. They put pollen traps on, but they just bring in more pollen. It gets them going even more once they put the pollen. Now the pollen trap, it seems like it makes it worse.
Nah,
Yeah, it'd be
I,
great to use it.
it's only a few day activity that I have to have them
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had some pollen. I do wish I had extra pollen to make into patties. That'd be sweet.
Like I actually bought some more bottom boards so I could have better traps, easy ones. And gonna be trapping a lot more pollen this year to put in my homemade pollen patties.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I'll
definitely
freeze
the
it.
advantage.
As soon as
Just
I pull
remember,
it, I'll
Sell
just
it.
freeze it.
just remember, you got to crush it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and freeze it.
Yep.
Huh. DC, this is interesting. The more you talk, I'm just curious about what's going on up there in the Northwest. That would be so much pollen.
I mean, that doesn't shock me one bit that he's got 7 pounds of pollen in his freezer, because you can buy real pollen
Yeah.
on the internet, and you can buy it in the grocery store.
Right.
Yeah.
I could get 7 pounds in a year with no problem. And
Oh,
in 1 week, I could get 7 pounds.
Yeah, I don't run pollen traps on my hives because I
Yeah.
want them to have all
It's
they
less
need.
7 pounds in 1 week. I could get out of just 3 or 4 hives, I could get 7 pounds in 1 week
Jeez.
when that
That's
when that pollen
craziness.
flow's going. You know, whole
Huh.
buckets of it. It's just amazing how much pollen is available.
But brassica. Trying to say that. Brassica. Brassica.
Brassica. Yeah.
Hmm.
And mine's tulip poplar. Yours is brassica, mine's tulip poplar. Tulip poplar.
Yeah, when we get a black locust bloom, I'm gonna tell you what, pollen's coming in like crazy down here too. Very seldom do we get a good black locust bloom, but when we do, man, I'm gonna tell you what, it's pollen galore around here.
Hey Bill, I don't even worry about I got probably more black locust than anything. And that's not a pollen flow compared to the tulip poplar flow.
I'm sure, but here we don't have a lot of tulip poplar that's close to my hives. I mean, we've got a lot of it on each mountain range, a lot of tulip poplar there, but as far as being close by, no, I don't have a lot. I've got more black
Right.
locust, and it's pollen. I mean, they are loaded down with pollen, and if you can catch a good black locust flow, that honey is just almost as clear as water.
Yeah. Yeah, and sweet.
Yeah. And by the name of the tree, you wouldn't think it was that way either.
Right. I love I love black locust honey with a little bit of clover honey and all the other wildflower with it.
Yep. Yeah, we got the brassica around here too.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Tulip
I,
poplar trees can get up to 150 feet. They're one of the tallest trees
yep.
on the east of the Mississippi.
Yep.
And their flowers are what, 2 inch and a half to 2 inches diameter.
Yep. And then those are some big blooms on those flowers.
Yeah, they're big. They have tons of pollen in them. Yeah, I don't know how many flowers are on them.
I like the cherry trees though. The wild cherries and they just covered in white blooms for
Yeah,
about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then they're done.
right.
I got two big cherry trees there at the store, and I mean, the blooms start out, and as soon as they open up, they're covered with bees.
Yeah.
It's like you can't walk through the parking lot without getting hit by a bee.
I have one huge wild cherry tree in my yard and a bunch of small ones. I used to have a whole lot of them, but the drought that we had back in 77, I want to
Yeah.
say, killed a lot of them.
Hmm. So DC, you get all that late bloom out there and all that too prior to winter. So I mean, your bees should have plenty of pollen year round, don't they?
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Bradford pear.
Yeah,
Gary's saying about I didn't think Bradford pear gave
they
us, or am I thinking the wrong?
Bradford pear is an invasive species of trees, but they
Yeah.
do produce pollen and they do produce nectar, but they don't produce any fruit.
Okay.
And I don't see
So-
bees on them either. Too many. I'll see a bee here and there, but not many.
Yeah.
I don't think they care for it, but there's nothing else that'll hit it.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, and they split. Aren't the Bradford pears the ones they're so beautiful. They're just gorgeous the way they're outlined and everything. Their portrait is just a gorgeous, and then all of a sudden
Wind
one
comes up and they
year they'll
split.
just split.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll see
Yeah.
them all just get to a point where they just split and fall.
Yep.
That's a shame. So they can tell they're made for ornamental. I mean, they're
Yep.
not made for, some of these trees are 50, 60 years old.
Yep.
And they're
I got some of
super
them down back.
invasive. They're super invasive.
Yep, they are. And of course, the birds have helped with that.
Right.
Oh, right.
You can thank
Yes,
the
Gary,
government.
you're right.
You can thank the government for that, for producing that strain of tree, hybrid tree.
Yeah. Somebody wanted.
Well, they're pretty. They
Yeah,
are
they
pretty,
are.
and they do frame a driveway, but they're just not.
They weren't supposed to be able to reproduce, but they did.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
They were sold to landscapers because they're good landscaper trees. So they get too big and then they fall apart.
Yeah, they grow quick.
And they weren't, and they call them culinary pears, all
Yeah.
the wild Bradford pears. And you drive up and down the highways in Cincinnati and the whole hillsides are loaded. It's all there is. It's 90%
wow.
those. Yeah, I'll take you pictures of them this year when I drive by. Just loaded.
I think we
In the
have a
state of
native
Ohio.
cherry. We have a native cherry over here that
We have
blooms
a
real
wild
pretty.
cherry.
Yeah, it doesn't have fruit, just has like little pits,
Little
I
fruit.
guess.
Yep. Little itty bitty round
Mhm.
little round balls. And then you have the Japanese cherry, which has the same thing. And then you have the choke cherry, and you have the wild cherry, which gets a big red cherry on it.
Oh, ours don't.
I don't have any of
None of
those.
the.
I got the chokeberry cherry or choke cherry and the wild cherry. That's it.
Oh, my one linden tree officially is dead. I had two of them the size of my pinkies, or the thickness of my
Oh.
pinky. And one's lovely, and the other one's officially it broke. It rotted and broke. I
I
saw
had
that like
about
yesterday.
3 years ago, I planted, I don't know, 10 of them. I got 6 left, and they're about 4 feet high, 4 or 5 feet. So they should take off this year, get up to 9 or 10 feet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I
But they're,
put them in. I put them in last year, so they're only.
I have, I have a whole woods within a half mile, 3/4 of a mile that is loaded with linden trees. It's old growth
Oh,
forest. I don't think it's ever been harvested, and it's loaded with them. I mean, there's probably 80 to 100 of them, and there's
yeah,
probably
the
about,
American chestnut, Gary, the
you
American
know,
chestnut, I think.
there's not
My
many of
neighbor
those
has one
left.
There's
of them.
not many American chestnuts left.
No,
They
but
all
they're
get the
breeding them.
blight.
They're in an aggressive breeding program over here.
Yeah, that's
They're
what
Yeah,
they're
they're breeding them to a hybrid Chinese tree
yeah.
or a
oh
Japanese chestnut. They're to bring them back. So they're hybrids. They're not true
They're
American
not
chestnuts
true
anymore.
American chestnuts.
Because a true American chestnut grows in a grove, and you'll see shoots coming up out of the ground.
Yeah.
mm,
Those are little chestnut trees.
but they never
In
get more
fact,
than what 3-4 feet tall because
Oh
of the
no.
overcarry. The top the canopy is so thick. Is that the one?
Yeah, you'll get them that grow larger. I mean, chestnut trees are huge.
I asked, I can't think of the guy's name, last fall. I growed some of these hybrid chestnuts in my yard. And I asked the main guy, he lives out by you, Nancy, somewhere close in that Maryland area, up
Hmm.
north in the mountain, in the Smoky Mountain areas of the mountain parts of it, because that's where they seem to survive the best. And they always put mud on the blight when they get the sore on the skin of the bark of the tree. And I asked him, have I said, you ever tried propolis? Because that kills fungus and bacteria. And they said no. So they're going to start trying it this summer, this spring, this year. I
Hmm.
said it should kill it.
Hmm.
So there might be a solution. They said that nobody. He said nobody's even brought that up.
Yeah,
I
we
said,
have a
well,
Yeah.
small.
get with your local, one of your commercial or local beekeepers in your area, and they can get you all the propolis you want.
Yeah, we have a small grove of chestnuts here on the farm, but it's not very big.
Huh.
I'm lucky. I have 6 chestnut trees on my property that are the hybrid, and right now they're looks like they're mostly American
Yeah.
traits on them. There's certain traits on the leaves, how the leaves come out of the branches. That tells
Yep.
you how much is Japanese and how much is American. And I have one in the front yard that looks like it's 100% American, but it's not. It's a hybrid. So it'd be interesting if it gets blight in it. It's about 12 feet tall right now. 10, 12 feet. Yeah, 12 feet.
What, it's about 6, 7 years old?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's 6. This will be 7, Bill.
Yeah.
It should. I'm hoping to get um, chestnuts off of it this year. I didn't
Yeah,
last year, but I should be.
when it starts producing the chestnuts, that's when usually the blight shows up.
Right.
Oh. Is that like 4 or 5 years or what? Remind me what?
8
Is
years,
How
10
many
years,
years?
7, 8 years.
Oh,
8
okay.
to
A
10.
little more than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put propolis on mine if it gets blight. It's a hybrid, so it
It's
might not.
interesting. It's interesting to see the trees at DC. So DC soil, I was thinking about soil, talking about trees. So DC soil has got to be a world of different than mine
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
because of ours being what weren't we seabed here or something?
Yeah,
this
we
is,
were at Piedmont. We were a seabed at one time, all the way up to the Allegheny Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I'm totally different here. I'm all clay, gray clay and yellow clay with a little bit of topsoil. I'm literally inches of topsoil and that's it.
Yeah.
Then it's shell rock.
Oh, DC's is wet. Yeah. I think everything's wet out there. Wet and dark. It's probably really dark and hummus or very, very yeah.
He's got a more volcanic soil, I'd say.
Probably.
Have
All
you
right,
ever
guys,
had?
it's 8:30.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Do we want to keep going or do we
Well, that's
We
up to
still
you
you.
want
got
to jump
24
over to
people.
How many
No, I
people
guess we'll stay open.
how many you got?
24.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, we'll stay here. That's
Yeah.
enough to keep the lights on.
yeah, it
There's
is.
20 diehards.
Huh?
So there's 24 diehards.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said the other day about a she keeper. It was like the other week. I thought that was hysterical. I wasn't on. I was just on in the chat, but I think it was DC talked about a she keeper, and I thought that was great. That just cracked me up.
A
Is there any
she
she
keeper.
keepers on?
A
Yeah.
beekeeper is it's 99% of the hives are female, so it is already a beekeeper is already a female person.
Hmm.
She keep. Oh, I said we need more she keepers. Yes, that was hysterical, DC. Did you come up with that? Probably. She keepers.
I would say my classes I give, it's 70% women
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, that's what my classes are this year too. It's mostly women.
So the
Yeah,
trend the last few
more
years,
and
there's more women beekeepers than men of the
Yep.
younger, of the next generation.
Yep.
Now, how many hives they have, I don't know. Compared.
Well, then again, we might be seeing, the women are more apt to come to the class than the men, and they may be taking it back to their husbands or whatever.
That's what usually happens.
Yeah.
yes, the women start. The woman has the interest and starts, and then somewhere gets discouraged,
Yep.
and then the husband ends up taking over the. Yes, I've seen that a lot too.
It's usually week 3 or 4 for me.
In fact, Bill, I just had a lady call me yesterday that was in my class last year, and she's gonna buy a couple nukes for me, and she asked me about equipment, and I said, I know somebody that has Enel hives, and if I was you, I'd go with the the insulated hive.
Yeah.
So she's gonna give you a call real soon.
All right, you'll have to text me her name so I don't make sure I get the.
Her name is Alexandria Marshall.
Okay.
No, wait, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have her text or email, or I only got her phone number so far. So I can give her
I'll be
I can
right
shoot
back.
you her phone number. I'll shoot it to you.
Okay.
Name and phone number.
Yeah, that works. Thank you. That way, if I got it in front of me and she calls, I won't forget it.
Right. I understand. Yeah, she's probably gonna get 2 hives.
Well, that would be great.
So I told her, I said, you got an option of going with all mediums, or you can go with deeps and then medium supers. So I don't know what she's gonna get.
Okay.
So I said, get the NL hives.
Yeah, it has really picked back up.
Yeah, I think if I was starting now, that's what I'd be getting.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are doing. Of course, we've got a couple clubs here in the area that push the wood, and then when they come in and price everything out, they change their mind.
Yeah, and it's to me it's a better box for the bees.
Yeah,
For the bees' sake, because it's insulated. Now, if they could come up with a wooden box that was just as light and insulated, then it'd be no difference. But that day will never happen.
true.
Just the nature of how heavy wood is.
Yep.
So, and she's a lady beekeeper. She's told me she's going to do. They're lighter. They're not quite as heavy because they're lighter than wood ones.
Yeah.
Save a few pounds.
So
About 20
Peabody,
pounds.
what club is it that you are a member of?
Me?
No, Peabody's apiary.
Oh,
I think they're in Virginia.
he's out in,
Oh.
that's Brian. He's up in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
My paper with everybody's name and stuff it fell down the side of the sofa. So of course. So I'm gonna try something here.
Yeah, he's close to Minnesota Mike.
Yeah.
Banner. There you go.
Ah, look, I
You
did
got
the
a banner.
banner.
Yeah.
Yay! But it's not moving. Ah, ha. Here, bear with me.
Well, we
No,
got
Welcome to
the
my first live stream.
no, there's options here.
Yep.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
I'm waiting.
It takes a minute for it to kick in.
Thank you.
There
you
it is.
go.
Yeah, I need the first thing I'm going to get off you is what do you use to spray? I use a Fisher's Be Quick, or yeah, Fisher's, and then I use Wrangler, some Bee Wrangler for my fume boards. What are you going to carry, Bill?
I have Honey Be Gone. It's made by
Honey
Blythewood
Be
Bee.
Gone.
Yeah. It's made by Blythewood
One
Bee.
of them they say really stinks, but the ones I've gotten, they smell like almonds to me. It's not repulsive at all. I mean, it's not something I'm going to wear as perfume, but it's not repulsive.
Come on now, Nancy. You're a beekeeper. You got to wear a little bit of it as a perfume. No, I got the box of it in, and one of the caps had worked. It was a little loose, and it had some on the bottle. And I picked the bottle up, and I kept smelling something strange. And I did that, and oh yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah. Honey Be Gone's got a smell to it, but it's
Yeah, it
effective.
does.
It's effective though.
Yeah, and it's oily. It's like an oil-based product.
Bill, if I get bees in a tree, I'll drill a hole in the backside of the hive of the tree of their entrance, and I'll
Yep,
put just 3 or 4 drops in my smoker of
and
that,
smoke
and
it.
then smoke them. Oh man, you would see them. They're coming out the other end as fast as they can come out. That's the only way I know of getting bees out of a tree. And you get the bees out. Sometimes you won't even get the queen out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll either come out or she'll die. One of the two, right?
Well, I had that happen last year. I got the bees out. I sucked them up. I went back the next day, got some more bees out, sucked them up. I got to a point where there was no more bees coming up, and the queen never came out.
Wow.
Yeah. And I called the neighbor up, you know, a couple weeks later. I said, "Bees ever come back?" She goes, "Nope, you got them." I said, "Okay," but I never got the queen, just the
Wow.
bees. Yeah, and I guess she died inside of it eventually.
She probably did.
So
Sorry, I muted. My dog was barking, so I muted. Short Pants. Who is Short Pants? North Central Wisconsin. I've seen you on Charlie's chat, perhaps.
short
That's a
pants
good
people.
call. That's
I
a good
don't know
catch,
that one.
Ryan.
It's a new one.
Short Pants. Yeah, I saw either. Do you you have a YouTube channel, Short Pants? I think he does.
North Central Wisconsin. So
Dan.
that would be west of Green Bay.
West of Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay's kind of northeast
Let me write this down. Charlie's gonna be so proud
Wisconsin.
of me. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names here. Let me see. Short Pants.
Got a few.
That's Carl.
Dan. Oh, wait.
TC
Carl.
That's
knows.
Carl. Hold on. Hey, Dan at Short Pants Beef Farm. Triton.
Carl is Short Pants. That's what DC's saying.
Carl. All right. So, Triton, who are you saying is Dan? I don't want to miss Dan. We got Carl. Carl. And where's Carl from?
North Central Wisconsin.
Northeast Wisconsin. Okay.
Come on in here,
So,
Short Pants, and introduce yourself.
yeah, that would be cool. No, Dan. Okay. We got you. I got you on the little list here.
North Central Wisconsin.
He's Dan. Short Pants Beef Farm is Dan.
Oh, it's Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, so who's Carl? Oh, no, Dan. Good heavens. Okay. So scratch Carl. Who is Carl? Carl, show yourself.
No, DC thought it was Carl, and DC just said, "Oh, I'm wrong. It has been known to happen."
Wait. Never. Oh, we're in more line. Where did it go? We've never seen this. If I learn how to make thumbnails, it's gonna be now. DC, I'm kidding, you know.
I'm wrong every day I get up and go to work. That's going to
That's
change.
because you're still getting up, going to work.
Oh, Carl. Yeah, we know Carl is 2B brats. Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Two breed
2B
brat. Yeah.
brats. Took me a while to memorize that, but so another brainy idea I have, and this is where Charlie says something, but so here's the brainy idea I have. I would like to figure out how to move queens around the country without putting them on planes. I mentioned it before a while back, and it didn't get too much attention. But if somebody's in the group, see, I get these ideas, but I don't know how to, I can't facilitate all, but what we need, if somebody has a logistics program, access to a logistics program, because I think that's what we need, right, Tom? Is like a logistics type
Right.
of
I mean,
thing, right?
You
know what I'm
can
saying?
create that.
like a
You'd have to
program.
get,
Yeah, I used to.
you'd have to get with a a trucking company that
Yeah, but
trucks all over
you
the
can
United
create it
States.
on an Excel spreadsheet. What you do
Long,
is you list
right.
all the people in the different states and their drive times apart, and then you put out a mass email. I need to connect the dots between here and here. Who
Yep.
can volunteer to drive an hour and a half one way or whatever to get?
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I did talk, so it's like the dog networks, these
Yes.
dogs that come in from, I don't
Wherever.
know, where there's
Yeah.
a storm somewhere, or from even another country, but they come into an airport and they move those dogs all over the country in hours.
Right.
Like, less just a day, 24-hour period. They move those dogs all over the place. Why
Yeah.
can't we do that with bees, queens?
You could, because you can bank queens for a week as long as you got a good amount of worker bees and maybe a little bit of food in the container with the queen.
You have to have attendance in
Um,
there too. And
Yeah,
you have to
there
well,
you
make
we'll
go.
figure all that. Like put that out like on one of the chats. We'll have all the criteria for success, whatever that looks
Right.
like, and everybody will have input into that. But to somehow build and create a network, because so up here in the Northeast, they're always talking about Southern Queens, don't get your queens from the South, boo 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 boo,
Yeah,
which
same thing.
I don't love to get queens from like Joey and Mark, and like I'd love to have my groups, each group be somebody's queens, but we can't fly them. I mean, I guess we could, but I don't know if that's proven to not be such a good idea anymore.
Yeah, even
Right.
going through the post office and the UPS is not such a good idea anymore.
Right.
No.
But anyway, that's an idea. And if someone can't sleep tonight and you start thinking about it, pop up, say something. But I don't know. I think that would be cool. No
In
profit to
fact,
the driver. No, absolutely none. No profit at all. There's no money. No money changes hands. Queens galore. You want queens? You can have as many queens, buy as many queens, whatever. But no money exchanges hands.
right.
I mean,
I lost a
you
nuke.
know,
I lost two nuke sale today. Lady wanted two nukes and she asked me about delivery. I said the end of April, 1st of May. She goes, I need them the 1st of April for the flow. And I said, yes, so does everybody
That
else.
ain't happening. It's too cold to do
she'll be
splits.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she can't get them
Yeah,
anywhere else,
queens.
she'll call you back.
Well, yeah. So I have to go south to get them.
Yeah, so all these details, like everyone's throwing, and this is so cool. Like Ryan has an idea, and somebody else says, like, yeah. So once the logistic program has to get built first,
So we
I
need
would
the
think,
Queen Convention of States.
huh?
We need the Queen Convention of States.
No, that's a terrible name. Um, no, it's a highway. It's an expressway. It's the Q Express. I don't know, but anyway.
That's a horrible name. That's what the government has, the Convention of States.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the airplane is the issue. It's the handling of them. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it would be kind of be cool if we could figure it out. Like Mark. I just use Mark as an idea because Mark is southeast of me, and he's a bee breeder. Like, so Mark says, I'm gonna have X amount of. His cell builder went nuts, and he's got like 40 cells. And then he could leg them up. And some of us will probably be able to, it would have to be a logistics program because some of us would be able to drive 3 hours one way
Yeah.
sometimes. maybe we
Right.
only can drive an hour sometimes. Some of you retired guys, JW and his jet. I mean, it's an endless possibility, but it would be a revolving thing. It would be a living thing that would revolve around when we have queens, who can drive them, who even wants them.
Right.
But see, JW in the jet, I mean, he could be your transportation all the time. You just have to reimburse him for the jet fuel.
Nope.
Right.
No money. Nobody pays. No money is exchanged.
But it ain't flying.
Remember? Why can't he drop them out in parachutes?
Yeah.
And then they just.
Yeah. We need to, you had the carrier pigeons. We need
Yeah.
some carrier queens.
Oh, that's funny.
They can mate on
That's
the
a
way
new-
to the hive.
That's a new breed.
Yeah.
It
Carrier
flies
queen.
out, gets mated, and flies to our new home across the country.
Yeah. And she mates on the way. By the time she gets to you, she's fully mated.
Fly low and slow, just drop them. Yeah. Well, anyway, that would, I think it would be, I don't know if it's even possible, but
I don't think it, and timing logistics of when they're available and when people need them all over will be an issue too.
The way my grandfather used to ship queens all over the United States is he'd go to either the Greyhound station in Warrenton or the Trailway station in Warrenton and put them on a bus
Yeah.
and send them by bus. And whoever was getting them would meet the bus at the station and pick them up.
genius.
Be-
Genius.
Because you can bank a queen for a week and won't affect her too much.
Right.
So, and in a week, most buses can get through at least half the country.
Yeah.
That would be,
Yeah, the
busing
computer
would be the only
program.
way. Trucking.
Yeah. Or you could put
Computer
them.
program would be the genius.
You
Sorry.
could do it through a truck. If you're friends with a guy that has a trucking business and you know that he's going to be sending a truck to such and such destination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the big
Well, we'll
commercial
get
trucking companies.
Mark has some input on. I think Mark already tried with drivers. I think he already kind of tried that a little bit, but it didn't work out. But I don't know why. I mean, maybe it didn't work out for a reason or a problem that we could resolve, and then go back to the truckers.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem giving a trucker money or queens, if it's his
Yeah.
job.
That's what he's
Right.
getting paid to do.
Huh?
So why not support him?
That would be the right thing to do in that situation. If we were to employ or were to, employ, it would be employing. It's his profession. So yeah, I mean, if you run a grasshopper and a couple trucks, a couple I don't know, but yeah, logistics. I mean, it's just hot shot drivers.
Yeah, I mean, if you know somebody that's going to be transporting bees, like say from here to Georgia, he's going down to pollinate in Georgia.
Well, that's gonna be that's we already have access to that. Like
Yeah.
we have access to that, but
Right.
I'm talking about us. We've been talking to each other's bee smack now for years. What if we have queens? I think we should try it. I think we should really try it.
I mean, we haven't had any bad success out of UPS yet. So
Nancy, we got to get Mark Miller on and have him talk about it. There's a learning curve.
Yeah,
before we can go any
I
farther.
mean, He knows I'm on Wednesday. Wednesday suit him in season. Wednesdays suit him to come on, but we're not in season, so he's doing other stuff he's got to do on Wednesdays. But yeah, we'll get him on for sure.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I figured out who had those stainless steel grafting tools at Nobby, and I sent them an email, and I have been in contact with them, so I may have some grafting tools at my grafting class, stainless steel ones. Yeah, Bee Express. And you just take a sticker and put on a truck, live bees.
Yeah, I mean Charlie runs down and gets, guys here get truckloads of packages, and then they bring up, pre-ordered. Like you got to give the guy an idea. He's got to bring 300 queens up or 20. I mean, it's you pre-order the queens and they all come up. And I'm just talking about us more.
Yeah. The problem is you only can transport packages and queens. You can't do frames.
Yeah, you can't do
Right.
bees on cone.
State
Well, you
line.
can, but you have to have the import permit for each state you go into.
Yeah. And some states won't even accept them.
Right.
I ship out of state. I ship to Maryland and Delaware. That's not, you just get inspected. I mean, like I get inspected anyway. I
Yeah,
get
but see, it's
inspected
not
every
you
year.
that has to get inspected. The person that has to
No, they
apply
get
for the person that has to apply for the import permit is either the person that's carrying them or the person that bought them in that state. They like
yes.
Virginia had
Right.
if you buy bees from out of state on comb, you have to get an
Yes.
import permit before you buy the bees. Once they get
Yes.
in state, you have 10, I think it's 10 days to get them inspected by the state.
Yes.
And if they're sick, they go back where they came from.
So it's easy. It's
And you
not
lose
as
your money.
complicated as
Yeah. You
so
lose your
I know
money.
my inspector. I know my inspector well. I have a cell. I text him. I'm selling bees to New Jersey. The guy wants them at this date, right?
Yep.
He goes back and then he comes and inspects me beforehand, and he calls the inspector that's getting them because he knows them anyway. And then he says, "Well, what day are they coming up?" And he's got so many days. And then the inspectors do the communicating for me.
Yeah.
Like
They
I
they
don't.
do
I
it.
just
They do a certain amount of that in Virginia as well, but it's up to the purchaser to get the import
yeah
permit and to call for the inspection once they get here.
yeah
So
yeah.
Right. But you'd have to do
We
that for
have
every state.
yeah, you'd have to do it in every state you were going to import
And
bees
not
on
every
comb.
state is very flexible.
yeah
I think
over here.
Ohio, you can't even get them in the state from anywhere. I don't think I think they're totally locked out.
Yeah. There are
I
some
think.
states that you can't, like the reason the truckers run certain routes taking bees to California is there's some states they can't even go into with bees on
Yeah.
comb.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know about any of that. But yeah, I'm right here next to. I'm a stone's throw from New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, even parts of New York's not really a stone's throw, but our states are very connected, so it's easy to
Right.
sell sets. The two frames with the queen in to somebody in a neighboring state because they're an hour away.
Yeah.
I know people have tried to sell 2-frame nukes.
Yeah, I do. I do.
And that's the problem. Most states won't accept them.
Yep.
Even being expected, they might not accept them.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
my inspector would know as soon as when I dropped him the text saying I'm selling
Yeah,
to
you
X.
got a unique case
Know
there,
that.
Nancy.
Huh?
You got a unique case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just know I live, I only live a mile and a half from Kentucky and 6 miles from Indiana. So I have to really watch where I catch my swarms. If I get a call from somebody from Indiana on a swarm that's just in the tree, I can get them because that's like a package. But if somebody's got like cut out for a house net, I can't do it. I can't bring them across the border.
Jeez. Why?
I
Why did
can do it,
Ohio
but
do that?
I have to leave them in the state
Disease.
because of
Well,
the
I know, but
diseases.
what was their experience? What was their
Probably American foul
experience?
brood back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. There you go.
that was a big deal at one time.
Yeah. They were
Hmm.
afraid it was going to wipe out the bee population throughout the states.
Yeah, I know it was bad. You read the stories about it. We were doing, oh yeah, sting the like button. Hit subscribe.
I
I forgot
did.
about all that stuff.
Yeah, hit subscribe.
I did it when there was 4 people on, and I was the fourth one.
You're my fourth subscriber.
No, I was number 4.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Mike, James, and who was the fourth one? Who was the first 4?
Mike on mine?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
Go back
because
in
I
the
was
chat.
a few minutes before you went live. And we all said hi to each other.
Oh,
And there was 4 showing, and there was four hands up when you came on. So all 4 of us hit
is that
right away.
Mikey Mike out of Vermont?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Kodiak usually always puts thing that like button, so he's got it now.
So it was Gary, James, Mike, and Tom.
Yeah, it was Gary. Gary was the one I couldn't think of. We were the first 4. I was number
Stu.
4.
I call him Stu. I don't
Gary
know if
was
he
on
likes
at
it or not.
5:45. James was on at 6:01. Mike was on at 6:27. And Tom came in at 6:29.
Oh, no, no, no. I
Yeah.
don't mean tonight. I mean on my channel.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know.
you'll never find that out.
Oh, okay, okay. Now, yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking about, I know about
No,
tonight.
tonight.
No.
Yes, tonight. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, Gary Stewart. I call him Stu. And Gary, if you don't like me calling you Stu, I won't call you Stu anymore. It just came out. Stu. Thank you, Triton.
Took a
Vince. Oh, where's Vince from? I want to add you to my little list. Vince Gagnier. Vince. Author Stewie. Yeah. Oh, and short pants. Thanks. Dan. Let's see. Where did GA and
IER.
IER. Where is Vince from?
Southern Ontario.
Oh, another Canada boy.
People on my
Yeah.
channel. Maccabees.
We get a lot of cows. We have a lot of slaughterhouses near me. I guess they're not all intact anymore, but when I was growing up, there's a lot of slaughterhouses here on the outskirts of the city or Philly, and my dad worked at one for a long time, but they were trucking in cows from Canada for probably 10 years ago now. And I was curious about that in the recent. But these trucks, I remember seeing these trucks, and they were massive trucks. Not like the cattle trucks I've seen my whole life rattling through town. These trucks were monsters coming down the road. So I asked my dad, I said, where are these big cattle trucks coming from? Oh, they're coming out of Canada. They run down and sit at the border, sleep their 8 hours or whatever the legal thing is. And then they run the rest, they can get down here, but in under 8, I think it's like 6 maybe. But that's interesting. They have big cows up there.
Gotcha. Yeah, someday it'll be the 51st state.
Oh, come on, stop. I'm talking about that stuff. This is ridiculous. Don't
Just
don't
kidding.
start that.
Nah.
But all right, I am gonna shut this down. It's been 2.5 hours, so I know it's rocking and rolling, but we'll do this again next Wednesday.
Sounds good.
And tomorrow is let's run down so we can jump over to Burns, Greg Burns's, what do they call that, stream team?
Scream Team.
Well, actually, it's on Brian's. It's on Brian's tonight. Castle Hives.
Yeah, 'cause they
Yeah,
rotate.
Yeah.
yeah. And
He's
then
hosting.
I guess Ricky's back from his trip. Went on a trip. So Thursday, Ricky's back, and then Friday's Charlie. Saturday night
Joey
is
Saturday.
Joey's.
Yep.
And Sunday, I take Sunday off, so there's Sunday is
There's Tim and Hannah. That
Well,
was
yes.
y'all have a good evening. I got to go. I got a phone ringing.
All right,
Alright,
see you,
Bill.
Bill. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Bye.
I'm gonna shut this down. Good night. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming. All right. Let's see here. Tom, I think you're still with me.
Yeah, it's just because I
Okay, and
left
I'm trying
on
to.
StreamYard.
What's that?
I haven't hopped off StreamYard yet.
No, right. So that's what I'm saying. So am I shut down on, this is only my third time. So am I shut down on, no, I think I'm still on YouTube.
Yeah, Kodiak says you're still
You
alive.
were still live. Don't worry, I'm not going to say anything I shouldn't say. I'm just trying to figure out why it says, oh, end stream. This is it. See ya.